Well, we move now to cybersecurity and fraud prevention, for which there's unfortunately a growing need as the burgeoning expansion of e-commerce has been accompanied by a costly increase in purchase frauds. But as there are, of course, it's very costly to e-tailers, cybersecurity companies play an important role in preventing fraud and increasing overall revenue. We welcome back Coresight Research CEO and founder Deborah Weinswig to moderate this session, and are joined by Suzanne Lankau, business developer at Riskified, and Yanai Oron, general partner at Vertex Ventures. Deborah, take it from here.
Thank you, Ben. Once again, Deborah Weinswig, CEO and founder of Coresight Research. We are very honored to have the opportunity to co-host this event today, which brings many unique technologies to the broader market. With that, Suzanne and I, I'd like to welcome you. And Suzanne, right now, we are seeing so much concern about fraud. We at Coresight hosted conversations recently with AFA's Steve Lamar, with NRF's Jonathan Gold, and we were speaking with Sensormatic yesterday, and this is at the top of executives' minds. And so with that, I want to turn it over to you for your presentation. Looking forward to the Q&A. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Deborah. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, I hope you can all see my presentation. Perfect. So first of all, my name is Susie. I work as Business Development Manager at Riskified, and I'm very honored to present you a little bit more about the company here today. So first of all, Riskified was founded in 2013. We are an AI platform for e-commerce merchants that uses advanced machine learning technology to accurately identify legitimate shoppers and keep them moving towards conversion. We pioneered the use of machine learning in fraud detection, which means that we offer a chargeback guarantee on every order we approve. The company itself has over 500 employees working both in Tel Aviv and in New York, with over 300 experts working in research and development to make sure our decisions are as fast and accurate as possible. Last year, November, we closed our Series E funding round with $165 million, which brings us to $229 million in funding to date and an evaluation of over $1 billion. Riskified actually focuses on working with enterprise merchants, including many publicly traded companies such as Booking.com, Macy's, we work with Gucci, and we are reviewing over 1 million transactions per day. Now, these are some of the challenges we help merchants to address. Basically, e-commerce merchants lose billions of dollars to legacy fraud solutions, to payment failures and high friction verification methods, which lead to customer friction and high abandonment rates, sometimes even up to 84%. Also, false declines present another great challenge for merchants. Those legacy fraud solutions, which are mainly rule-based, tend to decline around 30% of good customers at checkout. And in addition, sometimes 8 to 16% of customers get declined by their bank and they can't complete the purchase. Also, merchants are hesitant to expand their cross-border e-commerce operations because of the unfamiliar kind of fraud and the unfamiliar buying patterns in those markets. They face either high costs due to fraudulent chargebacks, or because of resource-consuming operations, such as manually reviewing orders or maintaining a rule-based fraud solutions. And all of these are endangering the customer experience and the lifetime value of the customer itself. Now, this is where Riskified comes in. Our core product is this Chargeback Guarantee. Basically, for each order we review, we give an immediate approve or decline decision. And in case of a chargeback, we take on the full liability on behalf of the merchant. Now, over the years, we advanced from a single, let's say, checkout fraud prevention solution to an end-to-end suite of products that helps to optimize the growth and the customer trust throughout the entire shopping journey, as you can see here on this slide. Basically, from the moment the shopper logs in, all the way to representment. So, for example, at login stage, our so-called ATO solution protects customer accounts and loyalty points from fraudulent takeovers. By analyzing the risk before the order goes to the card issuing bank, we help merchants optimize the bank approval rate. And if a customer gets declined by their bank, we offer Deco, which is an alternative payment option that helps to recover otherwise lost orders. Now, all of these products are connected by feeding back the information into our machine learning models. And this is how our products help to maximize revenue for merchants. First of all, we are invisible to the customer and provide a real-time decision. Our solution helps to accept 30 to sometimes even 70% of good customers that would have otherwise been declined, which significantly increases the approval rates. We also enable merchants to expand globally without the fear of fraud, because we can identify country-specific fraud patterns due to our global merchant network that we have. And by providing 100% chargeback guarantee, we eliminate those unexpected losses due to any fraud-related chargebacks. And also, we help to automate the fraud process. We cut operational costs, so merchants don't need to manually review each order, and they can focus on their core business. And overall, this ensures customer satisfaction and basically providing a frictionless shopping experience for the customer. And I give you some examples. Now, this slide illustrates how we help merchants of different sizes, from, let's say, 12 million to 10 billion of size, and across different industries. We help them to increase the revenue by approving more good orders. So, for example, the dark green is the number of approval rates after working with Riskified, and the blue numbers are the actual growth numbers in sales and in revenue itself. So, for example, for the company A, we help to increase their revenue by $1 million, which is about 7% of their initial revenue.
Susie, with that, I'm going to take a pause just so we have some time for Q&A, and maybe even leaving the slide is a great one. But we at CoreSite spend a lot of our time helping companies go cross-border, and that can be from the US to other markets or other markets to the US. Can you, and there has been a lot of conversation around fraud. How does Riskified help in those cross-border situations?
Yeah, that's a good question. So this is very true. We see that merchants have really different challenges depending on, let's say, the industry and also the markets that they're in, and if they want to grow, let's say, cross-border. So what is important is to really understand and be really flexible in working together with these merchants and understanding what is their challenges. Because sometimes merchants, they expand. So for example, we had a customer that is a Chinese merchant. They wanted to expand internationally, and they were hit by fraud in those international markets because they were so unaware of those fraud patterns. And therefore they strengthened the verification methods at checkout, and which then led to higher false decline rates. And it's kind of a vicious circle. So they lost the sales and all of that because they had the fear of fraud. So by working together, let's say with Riskified, it's very important to identify those areas and those challenges, to build, let's say, a use case, and to just review those international orders in order to help and alleviate this fear of fraud for especially merchants looking into selling cross-border.
Thank you. We have Yanni from Vertex Ventures. What we see is a significant, penetration into a huge market. How do you think about the opportunity for Riskified to continue to grow?
You were asking for us basically how we're expanding internationally at the moment as well?
Mm-hmm. And that question was actually for Yanni.
Oh, I see.
I'm happy for, actually, I think Suzanne is better equipped to answer this. Riskified. Go ahead, Suzanne.
So what we have seen, first of all, I think fraud is growing more and more, and fraud is international. And we have now seen it also with COVID, how fraud adapts to different buying patterns or different shopping patterns are attracting fraud. And there are many, many opportunities to tap into, let's say, different markets. Some markets are more fraudulent than others. And Riskified is really looking into expanding, not just within Europe and within, let's say, the whole the US and America, but also in Asia, where there are very unique fraud patterns as well. And there's lots of room and lots of opportunities to fight fraud. I think what's most important is to really understand and to see those different fraud patterns and to adapt proactively to them as well.
Great, and I want to give you some opportunity to ask Susie some questions.
Sure. So Susan, one thing I was wondering, and as an early stage investor in Israel, I'm really concerned that I didn't invest in Riskified. Heard great things. With the AI being obviously a great way of doing it, how do you see the different patterns of people are now behaving differently? It seems that hackers have a lot more times. The ones that are doing it half time maybe are now doing it full time. How do you see it in the day-to-day with with the changing behaviors? How do you adapt your AI to it?
Yeah, it's a great question, because this has been the topic, I think, at Riskified for the last 2 to 3 months as well. And you're absolutely right. Fraudsters, they don't take a break. They actually work from home. So for them, I think it was pretty convenient. So we have seen all of those changes, and we adapt the machine learning models accordingly. I'll give you some examples of, let's say, trends we have seen, which is super interesting, and also I think as a merchant, very important to keep in mind, because with COVID-19, what we have seen were very high cart value orders. So people were stocking up on a lot of goods, right? Like bulk buying. So that's one change in behavior. Another one is a lot of industries were seeing very new and first-time customers that the systems have never seen before. So legacy fraud systems could say, oh, this is, we don't know this customer. Where's this customer coming from? It's buying 2 or 3 toilet paper rolls. We restrict this. We're going to decline. And I think it's very important to understand that you have to adjust like machine learning does, and is learning from different behaviors, and is really helping not to falsely decline those customers at checkout. Great.
So I guess the machine learning knows that we're using a lot of toilet paper in these times.
Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly.
Excellent. I think what I'd maybe like to add to that is once again, as I heard about Riskified, is a great company. I think AI is kind of a great way to provide a lot of the value and allow retailers to really expand their offering. If I may, a quick shameless plug, one investment we made, and I think is a complementary to the AI solution, is the ability to, for each company, on top of using companies like Riskified, they have their own data team, right, and data solutions, and they're using Riskified. And for the data for e-commerce, but also for other types of companies, they use their own database of which customers are, whitelist or blacklist. And I think today blacklist is hard, but this is why you have very smart people at Riskified working on it. I think one of the opportunities is to create sort of a global whitelist of customers. Now, this is a major challenge, of course, because there's regulations around how much you're willing to share your database between different companies, and their willingness to share and their ability to share. We thought it's an interesting solution. A company called Identic, with a Q in the end, which their goal is to allow companies like Airbnb and companies like eBay to exchange notes about their own customers without any privacy breach, and allow it in such a way that you can actually use overlapping databases to share notes. And I think it'd be interesting to see if that's how much of a complementary solution it is to the AI solution.
Sounds interesting.
Susie, with that, do you have any final thoughts for us?
First of all, thank you so much for listening. It was great to share information on Riskified, and please, if you have any questions, get in touch with me.
Great. Susie and I, thank you so much. This was a quick session and we look forward to hearing more. And Susie, once again, congratulations on all the success at Riskified.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.